Greetings, friends. Jellord here, or Jello for short. I thought I'd do, I thought I'd kind of just do an introduction video of myself since I've been working on this little game channel for a while now. Not a long time, just a handful of months. I think the first video I made was like 6 months ago. And so far, I haven't shown my face or anything or really talked about myself. I've done some live streams and stuff, and mostly I've just talked about the subject matter that I want to cover, kind of the focus of my channel. But I think the channel is not just going to be about gaming. I also want the channel to be a little bit about just like life, what it means to be just a regular ass dude, trying to survive, trying to make a living, what it means to be like on your own, because I think there's a lot of guys out there that are on their own. I really do. And I think a lot of them struggle. I think it's hard for a lot of guys to be alone. They feel like there's a pressure, like they need to have a woman in their life, or they have to have some kind of greater meaning in their life, something more than themselves. And I just want to say that, like, it's all right to be alone. It's all right to be alone. It's all right to be you. I know I'm wearing these sunglasses. It's not something I'd normally do, but it helps me a little bit because I'm a little trepidatious about showing my face. But this, I'm gonna lose the glasses eventually as I'm doing more streams. But yeah, like I'll just kind of talk a little bit about who I am and like where I'm at in my life, and so maybe I can garner some more viewers or whatever when they get to know who I am instead of just the shit that I do on my free time. But I'm a 40-year-old dude. My two big hobbies are video games and anime, and that's like the number one and probably number two things that men get looked down upon for enjoying this day and age. I'd say those are the big ones, and I'm here to tell you there's nothing wrong with that, man. If it makes you happy, there's nothing wrong with it. And it's not selfish to focus on your hobbies, and I'm going to tell you why it's not selfish. So I was an alcoholic for like over 20 years. I started drinking when I was a little kid, and pretty much since I was a kid, I was drinking every damn day. And I got sober. I would say recently, but it's been 4 years now. I haven't had a drop of alcohol in 4 years now. Been sober, and so it's pretty wild after doing that for 20 years. And I'm sure there's some people maybe that end up watching this, if anybody does, uh, that might be able to relate to that if they've gone sober. And I'll tell you what, it's challenging. It's hard. At first it is, but it gets better. It gets better. There's no question. It does get better. I'm telling you that. And like I said, after 20 years being a fucking drunk, working in bars, being a cook, that's mainly what I did. I bartended and cooked all my life, pretty much all my working life. Started in kitchens when I was like 14, 15. I got my first job. I lied about my age, because I grew up poor, and I wanted money. Oddly enough, the biggest reason I wanted money was so that I could, wear the clothes I wanted instead of Goodwill shit that my parents could only afford because they were on welfare and stuff. And the other thing was too is I wanted to be able to buy games. I wanted to be able to indulge in the little hobbies and stuff that I enjoy. And oddly enough, that shit has carried me through. And I want to talk a little bit about since my little channel is about gaming and game repair and modification and stuff like that. I want to say, maybe it sounds a little cliche, but whatever, I don't care. It's not specifically gaming, but I'd say like my hobby, my hobbies are really what saved me from alcohol and from drugs. Like when I first quit, it was hard. There was like this emptiness inside of me when I quit. This emptiness and like this anxiety to fill up. Like it felt like literally like I had to fill up with liquid, like I did every day when I drank. It felt like I needed to put liquid in me, man. Like, and I was drinking like seltzers and shit. And I mean, I still drink a lot of coffee. I drink regular and decaf because I still want to drink. I still have that desire, you know. But that's okay. Whatever it takes to get through it is what I say. And I'm saying that to you too if you're struggling. I quit everything pretty much. It's been a year now since I quit cigarettes. It's just been a few months since I quit smoking grass. And probably the last one was the hardest one. And when I say I've been sober 4 years, I'm talking about alcohol. So don't shit all over me when I tell you I was still smoking grass a few months ago. But yeah, that one was the hardest one because like when I quit alcohol, I kind of kept falling back to other things, you know? I fell back to weed and cigarettes. So I just smoked a lot more weed when I quit drinking. And I figured that was better because at least I had my wits about me more, as much as you can, being fucking high all the time. But I had my wits about me more, and those things helped. They helped me kind of, the quintessence of a crutch, if you will. They helped me kind of hobble along after I lost this part of myself. Because drinking, it's weird, man, and people have said these sorts of things. I've heard these sorts of things before, but it's drinking's like a friend. It's always there for you. It's not going to turn its back or disappear or change with age, change into something else or drift away from you, Like you can always pick it up and go. Every day it's waiting for you. After every shift, after every stupid thing, after every little stress, it's there. It's there. That's the hard thing. It's always there. And I'll tell you, like I've still been a bartender these last 4 years. I've still bartend sober. And a lot of people are kind of flabbergasted when I tell them when I'm bartending they want to buy me a shot. I tell them I've been off booze for 4 years, and they're always like, they always want to congratulate me or something like that. It never really feels heartfelt because sometimes it does. I'm not going to say it never feels heartfelt, but sometimes it does. They'll be impressed. Usually it's younger people, older people not so much because they're still trapped. They're still captured. So it's like I don't know if it's I don't know if it's like envy or what it is, but they're kind of disdainful about it because it's like people say, misery loves company. But I don't think a lot of people really understand what that means. I think a lot of people that phrase that I think a lot of people really take it at a surface level when you hear the phrase "misery loves company." You associate it with like, oh, miserable people, they're lonely, they want to have some company. That's not what it means. It means you want someone just as miserable right next to you making the same mistakes that you're making. Because in some sort of twisted way, it makes you feel justified in your mistakes. Especially if that person is worse than you, worse off than you, and screwing up harder than you on a regular basis. You'll end up as a drunk, let's say, in this instance. It can apply to other stuff, other drugs, other addictions, but having that person next to you that's maybe fucking it up harder than you are, um, it makes you feel better about yourself. No matter how bad you are, as long as there's somebody worse, that's your miserable company. That's your misery. You know, you keep them around because they're miserable, and misery likes the company of more misery. That's really what that phrase means. So that was a very important phrase to me. Oddly enough, as time went on, the more I battled my demons and fought against the alcoholism. And like I said, I fell back. I fell back to weed and cigarettes. And first, I quit cigarettes. and then uh, and then the most recent one was quitting weed. And like I know a lot of people out there, they struggle, they're broke, they don't have a lot of money and stuff, especially like these dudes that are by themselves. They don't have a girl, maybe they don't have a family either, because I don't have a family. Like I got like a brother and he's got kids and stuff, but they live almost 1,000 miles away. And where I'm at, I'm totally alone. Uh, I got like coworkers and stuff that know me, but they're not really my friends. We don't spend time together outside of work or hang out. They're more acquaintances, you know. Same with a lot of the patrons and people like that I know, and some of them might even be watching this. And no offense, guys, and I'm sure you understand that we just know each other at work. It's like we're not. I'm buddies with people, but it's not like we're real friends. It's not like we spend time together or talk about our problems with each other, right? But yeah, I started this channel a while back. I don't know if it's gonna go anywhere or whatever, but talking to some of my coworkers, maybe the closer ones, the ones that I maybe kind of consider friends a little bit, even though we don't hang out. I like to think of them as friends a little more than just acquaintances. Uh, Talking to them a little bit, they said it'd probably do some good for my little channel to put a face to the content, so that people can get to know who I am and start to feel like they know me, and maybe start to see me as a friend. Even though I just kind of debunked that, didn't I? But start to see me as somebody they can relate to. Let's say maybe that makes more sense. Uh, but I guess as much as this is like an introductory video to myself, I think I want it to also be a video for people who feel like they don't really have anything in life, or they're listless, or they have no prospects for a future and stuff like that. It's like coming from someone that was an alcoholic for like 20 years. I didn't, when I was an alcoholic, I didn't think about the future. I didn't give a shit. Any kind of thoughts of the future was just a bunch of romantic horse shit. What ifs and one day I'm gonna kind of thinking. And that's all it was. It was just a lot of toilet bowl dreams, with no attachment to reality. And like since I quit, since I really stopped, I've never been broke since, man. And I'm a bartender. I work 4 days a week. I work 4 days a week. I have off 3 days. That's almost half my time to myself. And the big thing that saved me to kind of bring it back to this channel, that I started, the big thing that saved me was my hobbies, man. Even though people like to shit on men who spend their free time playing games and watching anime and shit like that, uh, I'm gonna be real, man. That shit saved me, and it could be any hobby. Like I'm also a woodworker. I learned how to work with wood a long time ago. That's actually what got me through COVID, because I was working a job that turns out they didn't have me on paper, so I wasn't able to collect all that stimulus and shit. And I was working in a guy's wood shop in his garage, helping him with his wood shop, man, and building shelves for him and cleaning his shit up and getting his shop organized for him and all of his equipment set up that he just left to languish for a long time. And I would go to his place and punch code in and get into his garage, and he would text me a list of things he wanted me to get done each day, and he'd pay me dick for it. It was just enough money for me to get cigarettes and be drunk. And I clawed my way through COVID with those stupid stimulus checks they sent us. I used that shit for my rent and my day to day expenditures. I I used the money from woodworking, and I signed up for food stamps, and I got my roommate's bum girlfriend who wasn't doing anything at the time. I signed her up for food stamps too, and that's how we all ate. But after that, and after I sobered up, I moved in to a townhouse by myself, and I live in a big city. I live alone, working 4 days a week. I can afford a two-bedroom, two-story townhouse by myself. I'm renting. I'm not like buy. I don't own a house. I really, besides my belongings and my game collection and shit, I don't really own much. I don't even have a car or a license. Never got my license. Never gave a shit. Didn't give a shit. Probably mostly because I was drunk all the time. And I didn't really trust myself to even have a license because I figured I'd probably end up crashing and killing somebody or killing myself, or I'd just lose the fucking thing drunk driving like most of my friends did. So I don't regret not getting a license. I'll probably get my license soon. I know how to drive and shit, but I just never did because I was such a drunk. So that's an interesting factoid about myself. But yeah, getting back to the point, like my hobby saved me. I used to have a knack for electronics, for fixing stuff. And once I quit, I really threw myself into my hobby, my gaming hobby. And it wasn't just playing games. I went through, because I kept everything, consoles that broke down on me, handhelds that broke down on me, handhelds that broke down on my friends. I told them to give me the shit. I just kept the stuff in my closet over the years, and I built up a nice stockpile of broken garbage. And after I sobered up, I started teaching myself how to fix stuff. And I literally, I didn't go to school. I didn't do anything like that. I just started watching shit on YouTube and going on Reddit and taught myself how to solder, taught myself how to do diagnostics with electronics, taught myself how to fix all sorts of retro games. And I fixed every broken thing in my closet. I refurbished and fixed, modified, improved everything. Everything I had that was broken, everything my friends gave me over the years that were broken, I fixed it all and added it to my collection. And I still do it. I buy broken shit now. I fix it. I add it to my collection. I come up with ways to modify consoles. Uh, I just went as deep as I could, and I still keep diving deeper into my hobby, and I can get better. I need to get better at diagnostics. There's some things I can't fix. The computer side of it a bit more, software issues with consoles and stuff. I can fix just about anything physically, hardware issues, but I need to get better at software stuff. That's not to say I'm totally illiterate when it comes to that stuff, but I could definitely get better. But I wanted to create a channel because that to me was the next step beyond just teaching myself how to repair my games and how to improve them and stuff like that. I was like, I wanted to share my hobby with people and maybe help people on their own journey into this hobby a little more deeply than just the superficial side of it. Not to say it's superficial to just play games, but there's more to the hobby than just collecting the stuff. You can learn about how this stuff is made, how it works, how to fix it. You don't have to buy a new controller when your joystick starts drifting or when some part of it breaks or you drop it and the start button stops working, which is something that happened to me recently with my PS5 controller. And there was a time I thought to myself, man, PS5 controller is way too complicated. I'm not going to be able to fix that shit. Well, guess what? A few months after having that thought in my head, I was already good enough to take apart a PS5 controller. I fixed the start button. I didn't even have to look up a video to do it. I just opened that motherfucker up and I fixed it, man. With the knowledge I had acquired just over the course of a few months. So the thing about that, I went from that's crazy, I'm never going to be able to fix that piece of technology, and then about 4 months later, I was taking it apart, fixed the start button, got it working. I recently fixed about a dozen PS2 controllers that had stick drift, every problem you could imagine. And I keep going, man. I refurbished a 3DS. That was the hardest console that I worked on so far. I failed. I failed a lot. I had to rebuy a lot of parts. Ribbon cables, man, those things tear so easily, and that's you tear one little ribbon cable, that's $50 screen down the shitter. But yeah, in a lot of ways, my hobby kind of saved me because it replaced the alcohol, it replaced the weed, it replaced the cigarettes. Anytime I felt like that feeling like I needed to fill up, I know that's a weird way to describe it, but I don't know how else I can describe it. But when I felt like I had to fill up, connect to something, because that's what it was. It was like I was connecting to the booze and the drugs. It kept me connected, almost like a different part of myself. It's almost like I still had company even when I was alone. But now it's like my hobby and doing these little videos and stuff makes me feel like I'm connecting, even if it's just connecting with myself. Like people say it, but like a therapy to get some of this stuff out. And life's hard, but it's. I'm gonna tell you, it's never too late to learn a new skill and to teach yourself something. Like just take what you love and go deeper. Like I went to college for writing, for an English degree, and in some ways I don't regret it because I think it was a good experience for me. And I got my associate's degree in English. I went all the way to get my bachelor's. I only had like 6 credits, which was like 2 classes left. But at that point, I'd been disenchanted, and I realized that I wasn't going to have a career in writing, at least not the kind of career in writing that I wanted. I wanted to be a creative writer, but at my college, they didn't have um, a creative writing program. So I took general English, and it turns out that was just an indoctrination program. They were just trying to indoctrinate me into a certain political mind state, let's say. And I've been the kind of person that I've always kind of gone against the grain, in keeping with the woodworking theme there, but I've always gone against the grain when it comes to what people want me to think. My first thoughts are, why do they want me to think this? That's always, and my brother was like that always too. We were both always like that. So it kind of made us pariahs in a way. Always, we were never really. I don't know. It always set us apart. And I was just talking to him the other day about that. How um, people always kind of knew there was something different about us. We weren't buying in to what everybody else liked, what everybody else was doing. We were always into the niche stuff. And I mean, it pains me, but nowadays, all the stuff that used to be niche used to be the stuff we liked. A lot of this, I still like a lot of niche stuff. There's stuff that didn't get captured by the stream or polluted by contemporary ideas. It stayed obscure, which I'm glad, because it's almost like those are little parts of myself that didn't get corrupted. Things I can still hold on to and know they weren't bastardized, right? But yeah, my hobby really saved me from alcoholism, I think. And look, man, you can be strong. You're a lot stronger than you think. And it's like I still want to be a writer. And I think my idea of being a writer, it's just like the way I looked at that PS5 controller. I was like, man, I'm never going to be good enough to figure that out. But there's going to come a day where I'm going to be like, there it is. I wrote my first book, and I didn't think I could do it, you know. But I'll be there. I'll be there, just like I have with other things I never thought I could do. And I guess the biggest thing is like taking control, because like this is kind of like Jesus take the wheel attitude. Nothing against Jesus, but Jesus take the wheel attitude that it's easy to fall into. I think especially as a man, because I think in some ways it's easier to be more reckless as a man. With all that testosterone. Testosterone makes you reckless, man. But I'll tell you what, like I have plenty of opportunities to like meet girls. I could have a girlfriend if I wanted to, but it's like I'll be real, like the quality of women you meet at the bar, it's not what you want. And maybe some good ones show up there. As long as they're not the ones that are there every day. You don't want to date barflies, trust me. Especially if you're a bartender, you don't want to date anybody that comes to your job regularly, because you're crossing the streams. If you want there's a lot of good advice, metaphorically speaking, coming out of Ghostbusters. You talk about the gatekeeper and the keymaster. Oh, we're the keymasters, man. And the ladies are the gatekeepers, and they're going to decide what key they're going to let fit, if you know what I mean. They're the choosers. And you don't want to cross the streams. You don't want to cross your professional stream with your social stream, Just the same way, like if you work at a bar, you don't want to be a barfly there too and hang out there every day because then that means you can lose your job on your days off. Nobody wants to do that shit. I just saw it. I just saw it. Just the other day, I had a coworker try to fight me because he was being an ass at the bar and starting fights. And when I broke up the fight, he turned his rage at me. And guess what? He lost his job. Go figure. So that's another reason not to cross the streams. Let me see here. I'm already up to 20 something minutes. So yeah, I guess this personal intro is getting a little long, but it's all right. Like I'm just trying to be real, and it's cool. It helps me, and I think it'll help to frame my channel a little bit for people to get to know who I am. And even if nobody ends up watching this, I don't care. I figure you can't really it's like impossible, I think, to start a channel and not show your face, and I don't want to be a VTuber. So I'm just gonna do it like this, man. I'm gonna put myself out there like this and see what happens. But I think one of the things I'll probably do is in between recommendation videos and chatting videos and stuff. I think I'll have the occasional like talk about life video like this because I think work and hobby and life balance are all important. Being a person isn't a one-dimensional thing. It's not just one thing. And like I feel like if you want to grow an audience online and stuff like that, you have to sell your personality just as much as you need to create and sell your content. And I think it'll flavor your content too, probably. At least that's the way I perceive it. Like when I watch channels, um, I'm more apt to check out more of the person's stuff if I feel like I know the person, right? But yeah, I guess it's kind of a big step for me to show my face. I didn't want to for a while. I was debating if I was going to show my face, but I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I got nothing to lose. I only got like 20 some subscribers, and most of them are just bar regulars and, you know, family on my brother's side, basically. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm just a 40-year-old gamer indulging in my hobbies. Hopefully, be a writer one of these days and create my own little world that I can live in inside of my imagination. But I want to put the message out there that, like, whatever your hobbies are, whatever your interests are, whatever you love, like, that can save you. And when people talk about love saving you, that's just like when, just like with Misery Loves Company, where it doesn't seem, the turn of that phrase is a little deceiving with what it means. And it's not till you think about it a little more deeply that you realize what it really means. The same goes for a phrase like love can save you. And that's, a lot of people think that just means being in love with somebody. No, that's not true. If you love something, it can show you how to love yourself. It can save you from yourself. The things you love can save you from yourself. And just the fact alone that you're capable of love is in itself something that saves you. Because like that's the biggest thing, there's something my mother used to always tell me, which stuck with me all my life. And I mean, she was unwell. She was an unwell woman, but like this one phrase that she left me with, uh, I mean, I'll say it. Screw it. I don't care. She had schizophrenia and stuff, so it was hard, it was tough growing up. But she always told me that you're never going to be able to love anybody. You're never going to really be able to love anybody until you learn how to love yourself. And I mean that's some hallmark shit. And it's been said. It's not like that phrase is unique to her, but the fact that it came from her is what made it unique. Anyway, getting a little deep here. Oof, damn. Ugh, yeah. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to get on the camera and just be real, share who I am a little bit, and maybe connect with some people, help them relate. Because you know what, I'm happy, man. I'm usually very happy. Like I don't I wouldn't classify myself depressed these days. I get excited every day. I get excited about getting up and working on the things that I love to do. I get excited about the prospects of the future. Um, and I'm going to make a big move soon. I'm going to move to be near my brother, so that's going to be exciting. I'll be able to have people in my life again, instead of spending all my time alone. But I'll tell you what, I spend all my time alone, and it still doesn't depress me. I'm still not depressed. I I look forward to every day. I look forward to indulging in my hobby, doing the things I love. I look forward to making these videos. I look forward to working on my little trinkets and knickknacks and stupid shit that I'm fixing. I look forward to all of that. And I'm constantly thinking of things to create. So it's like, just get out there and create, man. Like whatever you want, whatever you are good at, whatever you can create, create it. Who cares? And if nobody ever watches it, nobody ever pays attention to it, whatever, you're there, you're paying attention to it, and that's what matters. And it's filling your time and creating a love for yourself. And that's what's going to save you at the end of the day, save you from yourself. I know that got a little heavy for just like an introduction for a game channel guy, but I hope to make videos in between like this. Just maybe talking about mental health and the struggles of addiction and stuff like that, things I've overcome, and and uh, and who knows, maybe lead some people down a path of hope, the same path of hope that I've discovered, and maybe help them take the first steps, to fill that hole, fill it with a different fluid other than alcohol or drugs, right? But yeah, I guess that's gonna be it. I don't want to drag this out too long. I don't want it to be like an hour long video or anything. But that's it, y'all. That's Jellord Games right here. This is the guy fixing controllers and fixing handhelds and talking about anime and talking about games. So we'll see where it goes. Hopefully, I get a few more subscribers in the near future here. But even if I don't, I'm going to keep doing this for me because it keeps me going. It keeps me happy. It keeps me looking forward to something. And even if I'm my only viewer, still makes me happy to do it. So I don't care. And hopefully, pretty soon here, I can start lifting off with some of my writing. And maybe I'll create a channel related to that, or use this channel to uh, to share that side of me as well. But in any case, that's going to be it for me. It's going to be Jellord out, and appreciate anybody who watches this. And I guess, excuse me, if you don't mind, like, leave a sub if you feel like it. If this content seems like it's up your alley, and please, in the comments, like, tell me what your hobby is, or if it's gaming, tell me a couple games, or even just one game that helped you through a hard time, that made you feel like you had friends, or the characters in it, spoke to you, and brought you some happiness. So leave a comment down below if you end up watching, if anybody ends up watching. Just mention a game, or if you're not much of a gamer, just mention your hobby and let me know. So, well, that's it, I guess. In any case, that's going to be Jellord out. Adios, friends.